Now we're live. Hey everybody, here are the game faces. I'm Natalie.
I'm Nick.
Did we do this last time?
Yeah, sort of.
I'm Nick, too.
I'm Blaine.
I don't
And we're
remember doing that.
Still the game faces.
We had more people last time.
I think some of those were legitimate introductions because I had not met
Yeah.
at least one person, and I know Blaine hadn't met
Any of them.
three
Any of them.
or four.
It's
So,
gonna be more like a casual, just the four of us.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about Miasmata for the PC. It was made by two guys.
Joe Johnson.
Joe and Bob.
Johnson.
And Bob Johnson.
Yep, Joe.
I just picked the two most common names I could think of.
It
So
took
did
him
their
4
parents, I
years.
assume.
It was a cool game. Nick recommended it for its unique mapping gameplay.
Yeah, I feel like the game was entirely built on the mapping system. Like, without that, I don't think it would have been something of note. Because it's mostly just walking around.
But I
Aside
think
from that.
the other gameplay elements added a lot of value. That if it was just the mapping, I don't think it would have been really worth playing either.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have anything else to introduce about the game. So I guess we can. Nick didn't really play.
I played most.
Yeah. That's the thing. I keep hearing that Natalie's playing, Natalie's finishing, Natalie's saved. What were you? But Nick asked me the questions about tides and stuff.
Play the game?
We just switch off. We switch off,
Mm-hmm.
which is a terrible idea. Like, because when you're playing a game, I mean, it's not so bad for Miasmata, but when you're playing a game where you like build up skill along the way,
Right.
it's kind of like you've only played half. So things can be really hard.
This doesn't really apply to Miasmata, though.
No, it doesn't apply to Miasmata at all, because it's just moving around. It's mostly
the games we've done so far doesn't really apply.
yeah, it's not a hands.
He's just saying usually it bothers him how bad I am at games.
Yeah, but then I complain, and then I like pick up the controller and try to do it, and I fail too. So, you know.
It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, we're just awful. We're awful. So it's probably about we might want to change that format, but I get bored just sitting there, and you get bored there sitting.
He got bored just sitting there. I think he watched me play for several hours and then left.
There's a good
But you can
come back later when something
period
interesting
where it's
happens.
kind of the same thing to me, at least as a viewer.
You can get an idea of the game just by watching it, though. It's pretty obvious what's happening.
I spent a few minutes with the controls because some things seemed kind of strange with like slopes and things. And
Yeah, did you try walking up a hill?
You can walk up every hill in that game once you get all the buffs. It's awesome.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, so powerful.
How strange is that? It like you feel super powerful because you can do a thing that you can do in every other game
I know, yeah.
right out of the
And in
gate.
real
But
life,
because you've spent
right.
this whole time,
Yeah, as soon as I
barely
could
being able to
swim, I
find
was
it.
like, it's incredible.
the freedom is it's crazy.
You're running all over that island.
You were a little too confident with swimming until you drowned.
Yeah.
So you can drown after you
You
get
can
the
drown.
thing?
Yeah. That's why you can't get to the final island unless you get the cure.
Oh.
Oh, that's too bad. I was hoping for a speed run where you just get in the game and run straight to the island.
No, I tried because my game broke and it didn't. I had all 3 vials. They were in my journal and they didn't make the cure, so I had to redo it. But before then, I tried to get a Herculean tonic and swim the whole way, and I drowned like
Interesting.
I don't know 20 seconds out.
I remember when we first started the game, we got in some water, like
Oh yeah, instantly.
Yeah.
1 foot deep water, and you just die.
That was
Well,
the
we
first
didn't
thing I
die.
did.
We were very close to death.
It was very close to
That
that.
was about the first thing I did. Was I was like, oh, I'm gonna check out this boat I came in on. I'm dead. Oh my god.
Yeah.
How did you get here, surrounded by water, in the first place?
I don't think we died at all until we encountered the monster. And I ran right up to the monster to kind of...
Because you were like, look, you can definitely fight it. Throw something at it. Throw the burning
But it was
leaves.
true that you could wave the burning leaves in front
But
of
to
its
what
face.
end? What's it going to do? Just walk away?
That never was effective for me. I got less scared of the monster.
So what
and I tried
exactly?
to-
It was like a tip in a book or something, right? That said like you can.
I don't know. I just thought that if you had a knife and you were able to go like this, that it would have a use at some point.
You could swing the knife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did it every
I've
time
never-
I tried to
I
drop
didn't
the
even-
knife or
All right, let's talk about that, because those controls were so complicated. Like, you get used to them, and you figure out that you gotta, like, hold the button, and that'll throw it or whatever.
Yeah.
But picking up items and dropping them, there was a time where we walked a whole night in the dark because we couldn't drop an item to pull out our lighter again. Like, we were holding a rock, and it was just pitch black, and we couldn't figure out how to drop the rock.
Yeah, that was.
And it was not in the controls.
Yeah.
We looked in the menu.
I think we had to go to the wiki.
So this would be a good game that if it came with a box, it had a manual in it.
No, I think the right hand is just useless.
Well,
The right hand didn't do anything critical at all. The whole game. You pick up rocks, you pick up fruit. I mean, I don't know. You have a lighter, so why do you need to pick up...
Because burning twigs make a lot more light than your lighter does.
Kind of. I feel like it ruins your night vision as well.
Well, true, but...
So I'm interested in how they need to convey better the controls that we missed out on, because Nick didn't know about swinging a knife. Natalie, I know, didn't know about putting items on the ground.
That was really hard.
Yeah, that too. You had to crouch and then click.
I was like, I guess I'm holding this forever now.
Yeah. I didn't think you could drop things. For a very long time.
So were there instructions on some of the more basic commands in the game in the beginning?
I honestly can't tell you because I rushed through the beginning so fast that I don't remember.
It would tell you how to drink every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There were definitely hotkeys for, like, it definitely told you the hotkeys for how to open your map, how to pick up your compass and watch and that kind of stuff.
And there were instructions on all of the labs about how to construct the plants and stuff like that.
Yeah. They told you in detail how to use each of the things, even though it's like click and then click. But it's still instructions. So, yeah, they could have, I don't know, there could have been something more. I feel like right-hand actions were very unclear.
If it had just been written in the menu, it would have been fine.
That too. If there was a button instead of, like, a context-sensitive thing, just to drop right-hand item.
Yeah.
I think that would have been fine.
I mean,
as well.
I wanted to be able to, because once I figured out that you could throw things, it felt kind of cool to, like, hold the button down and then throw it. But there was never any use for that. Like, I wanted to throw a thing that was on fire to, like, distract the monster and then run the other way, but it never did anything.
I think the
It
whole
seemed
mode...
like it was more of a... I think the way the mechanics would have worked is running is usually bad with the monster, is what I noticed with Natalie. So maybe, I think when you throw an item, it gets distracted, doesn't it? Or no? Is that
I don't know.
misleading?
I don't know.
But I think
That would have been great. What we just always did is hid it behind a tree.
Yeah.
We hid behind the tree for a while, but sometimes it was just like, well, I'm close enough to camp, I can just run really fast, sleep in bed, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I was totally anticipating, we were both anticipating, because of when you go to sleep, you like look up at the ceiling and like the eyes close. We were really anticipating like the last flash is the face of the beast or something. And then you go to bed. And I don't know. That could have been... I feel like they could have done a little more dramatic
yeah,
stuff.
I think there was a lot of potential. I mean, like, I think it inspired a lot of interesting, aesthetics if you're talking about mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics, and they didn't necessarily capitalize on all of those opportunities. But still, like, I did feel uneasy, like, every time I went to sleep, because it's just like, you definitely feel like you're going to sleep in the middle of this uninhabited island that has a scary monster on it.
Especially when you went to sleep in that room with the paintings of the monster.
Oh, no.
Or a dead person.
Or a dead person. Yeah, the dead person thing was weird at the beginning, but then at the end of the game, it's like, what? You just walk past the dead person into the bed.
They're a knife holder.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know.
I'll just put this down for a second.
Yeah.
Make some plans.
So I'm curious. Go ahead.
I just think it was weird to have the knife when there was no use for it. I mean, it's fine to have a game where you're not knifing things, but once I had one, I felt a little safer.
Yeah.
Except that you couldn't do anything with it.
I happened to glance at a link when I was looking for things on the game that was like tips for fighting the monster. So maybe there is a way to fight it. We just didn't do it.
Interesting.
Even if there wasn't a way, I personally don't mind the knife having a meaning other than
uselessly trying to fend off.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of created an interesting narrative because you would have the knife, but then you need to pick something else up. It's like, well, I'm going to drop the knife.
No, you
didn't. Pick it up.
You never needed to pick anything up. The right hand was worthless. The left hand held all the plants.
But it was like lighting, right?
Yeah.
At night.
You could hold up light.
At night, right. That's what it was.
Okay. That's true, but I don't know.
So it was like you're walking around in pitch black, and you need the light, But you also want the knife, but you can't have it.
This false sense of security.
Or the hatchet.
Speaking of night, when we first started the game, we had a really good experience where we learned that when you tumble down hills, you get super disoriented and you have no idea what's going on. And it was close to night, and it happened twice in a row. So it was we have no idea what direction we're headed. This is super early in the game, so we don't know where anything is. We're just stumbling around in pitch black, couldn't see a thing. Somehow we make it to the first cabin and we get in the bed. And it was was that scripted? That felt kind of scripted.
Yeah.
It seemed like that couldn't have happened.
Yeah, we were there and we were like, is this the bed? Because there was the ZZZ and it was well, click it. And then we were fine. We were saved.
Wow.
And that was a pretty cool experience.
Our first experience in the night, we got lost, right? Yeah. And then it was a big loop of we have a torch and now we can see for a little bit, but we don't know where we're going. And then I think we were going to circle or something, but then the torch would go out. Yeah. And then when the torch goes out,
it's just helpless.
You
know that if you get over one of those edges, you're just gonna kill yourself.
Yeah.
So we were just walking terrified, you only see this far in front of you, and
the amount of distance you can make with a torch, and then you have to start getting worried and looking for another torch is very small.
Yeah.
And I like the way the game compounds the trouble. You're in the middle of the night, you're worried about the monster, and now you're thirsty and hungry and tired. Your body is failing you too. So you just feel really helpless sometimes.
Yeah, I really liked the way the game did those things. Because I was gonna ask you guys, did you feel like you played the game the right way? Because I definitely didn't, and I played the game the way I play every game, where I just barrel through the whole thing in the beginning, and then I end up in the woods in the middle of the night and just totally lost without a clue.
Oh no, we were super careful. I thought, really? Except for that one early misstep.
At the end, we didn't play the game right because we swam around the whole island. But
that was done. We were done.
The
reason that happened is because we did the things in the order of X, and then we went to Z. I don't know. We got distracted. There was a cool thing over here.
I still feel like that was the right way.
No,
because there
was
something
X, Y, Z.
But there was something that wasn't there until we got to the later island.
No, that's not true.
There was.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
You're completely wrong.
Wow.
You thought it was the end because at the top of the mountain, when you're going to the end of the middle peninsula, is the beast happened to be there, and you were like, "Oh man, I bet the flower's up there," but it's totally not. It's just
there was the whole mythology of the red trees that we thought there was something.
We saw something in the distance, and we were like, "Oh, I bet that's where the."
It was a part of the island that you couldn't get to, it looped around. So we knew we would have to go really far and come around to this coast, but you could see a red tree. And we were like, that's it. That's what we need. Because you could see it. And if it had been what we needed, it would have been pretty cool.
But it was just despite that being the thing that we were seeking the whole time, we did it last. We went way past, and so we went all the way to the right up there, and then we went in the middle.
It's not easy to just walk there.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you barreled through. I felt like in a lot of games you can get lost, but you just kind of keep going and you find your way. I felt in this game you could actually get lost and walk around in circles despite just holding forward because there are so many obstacles and hills in your way.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
And it wouldn't show you where you were on the map unless you found the things.
And
I think that's incredibly realistic when people talk about walking in circles.
Yeah, getting actually lost in the forest. Yeah, it's just you're so disoriented you can't.
I think it's probably the best implementation I've ever seen of something that's exploration in the sense that you can get lost, in the sense that this is some place that I know nothing about, that I'm, you're going on a nature walk almost, but if you leave the trail, you're done.
Yeah.
You're never finding your way back. It's, you might slip down a ravine and then you'll die. And
I was getting lost at the end of the game when I had the map and I knew where I had been a million times. I was like, how? I was on this trail. How did I end up back here? I have no idea. I was following the compass in a straight line the whole time, I thought. But
well, there's also the point that you'll look at your map and see the trail and you're like, all right, I got to go this way and veer kind of like this.
Yeah.
But the trail will split off to places that aren't on the map.
That's not on the map.
There's unlisted trails.
And that's beautiful because it's you think you're following path, but then you get to a point and you're like, I have to make a decision.
And
I don't know.
You have to really look at the paths and see which one looks more natural.
Well, and now I have
which one
to stay on
follows
the right
the
no
grade
matter
better.
what. So.
Yeah.
That was something that I wanted to talk about with the game is the idea that the game has maps and it has notes, And so I was conflicted all the time because I felt like I wanted to write more notes, but I'm like, the game's giving me the notes it wants me to have. Maybe I should just stick to their notes. But I wanted to see like all of my agents and everything, my progress at a glance, and I didn't really feel like I had that in the notebook that they gave me. And I wanted to make notes on the map about things that I personally remembered about it, but I had it.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
I think push pins is always a good idea for maps. You should always be able to put like, this is a point, and maybe put a word in.
Yeah.
Put a word in.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
I think it would have been cool to have maps drawn, but they don't get added to your thing. I think that was a little too quick.
What do you mean when you filled in the map?
It automatically fills in when you pick up a note with the map. It fills it in. I think it would have been cool.
That messed me up at one point because I think I got one of those and then like saved and didn't play for a while or something, and I just assumed I had been there, and that was where the agent Y or Z stuff was, and then I couldn't figure out where Agent Z was for the longest time.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get sidetracked in that. Yeah. The notes are incredibly important.
A way to tell apart places that you drew in the map and places that you
Yeah, just small details. But I think there were a lot of things like that in this game, but in the end, it was fine the way it was. I mean, it was a good game, I thought.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely really interesting. The notes. I think it did a pretty good job with the notes. The organization of the notebook, I take some issue with.
It's just put in there.
Yeah, there are tabs, but they're kind of useless.
I'm not even sure if it's put in order.
It's kind of realistic.
I guess so. But if I had put them in myself, it would.
I would know.
I would
have remembered.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I put them in there.
So you need Scrapbook Simulator in this game.
Yeah. I thought speaking of scrapbook stuff, I thought the lore was, I don't know, I didn't even.
I had a hard time following it.
I just didn't even read it.
About it. Yeah.
It's irrelevant, largely.
I would have. That's the sort of thing that I would have liked to get into, but it just nothing flipped me.
I think if you're going to tell a story that way, you can't put a book in the game. You know, it has to be snippets of story that you get piece by piece, and maybe like do it Zelda style with highlighted words in the text, so that you're just kind of breezing through it and absorbing it, and over time it tells a story.
Well, that's you want a highlighter part of the scrapbooking as well.
I definitely prefer the story elements that you just kind of witnessed and stumbled across, rather than the pieces of newspaper clipping that you had to read through and try.
The painting room was really cool.
Painting room, the lady with the message in the bottle that stabbed herself and things like that. Yeah, and all the chalkboard messages.
And I think you want to have, like, you want to meet in the middle between when you walk in a room, you want it to raise a few questions like, oh, what happened here? But you also want to know a lot of things. Like, you want to be given a lot of information.
Yeah. I think maybe that was it, that I couldn't figure out, like, who was on this island before here, were there natives when the researchers got here, and I think it was telling me all of that, but I didn't care enough to figure it out.
Yeah. Something about, like, politics in some country that I didn't understand.
Yeah, that wasn't here.
It's like, I don't get that. There's some rebels. I don't understand what's going on. Yeah. None of this.
I got mapping to do.
I have places to be that I have not seen yet. So.
Joe and Bob are going to watch this podcast and be like, oh, these guys are so uneducated and lazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did a pretty good job with, like, telling a story with the environment. But if it had just been a little bit better, like, if I walk in a room, like a house, there should be a story there that is told in its entirety, but you don't know how it fits into the larger story.
Yeah.
You know? And it should be simple.
If they just put a little Gone Home into every single hut, I think that would have been a really good change.
I mean, a little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a family photo. A family photo can tell a lot about a story, and yeah.
You could look at that family photo and you knew everything about that family.
I like the touch of the music only coming in when you get close to one of those huts or research stations. That was
good. Some relief.
Feel like something interesting is happening. Yeah, relief.
I didn't like how you didn't have to go in the middle of the night to get the glowing fungus. I think they really should have made you go. No, you can go at like dusk or something. I don't even know if that's the correct time of day.
We went out like twice in the middle of the night and failed.
Because we were looking in the wrong swamp in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah, but then it took me forever to find that swamp.
Yeah. Well, because there's a swamp before that swamp,
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is it, and you wait, and then.
Then we and they're like bullfrogs frogging, making the frog ribbiting.
They're making the swamp sound.
Yeah, they're making the swamp sounds, and it's like, no, this is the swamp.
This is a swamp for sure.
And I went in the middle of the night.
Why would there be more than one swamp?
Because why would you make a glowing fungus that can only be acquired in the dark if I don't have to go in the middle of the night at the scariest point? It should be requiring me to do that. And
the monsters should definitely be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there should have been more scripted things.
Like when you can see the mushroom is the time that the monster prowls that area. Like that would have been.
I don't think that's necessary. I think you scare yourself bad enough assuming that the monster's going to be there.
Maybe so.
I think you definitely do, but I think there's enough of that in the game that having a few scripted events, like just a few big events that happen.
I think not having it scripted means that, Nick, if you only watched part of the game, I think you got the entire experience.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't more to get because it's mostly the same.
One question: none of the island changed at any point in time, right? Like everything in the island was exactly the same.
You can do anything at any given time.
Nothing happened at night, over day. We kept running. I kept answering the question. It seems like the tide is going to go down, and it's going to make a little.
It does keep track of your days. Yeah.
Or like when you have to swim, and there's like those steel boxes.
Yeah, we thought for sure that the tide was going to rise.
I was like, the water's going to rise, and you're just going to go across the box.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
That would have been a nightmare to code, I would imagine.
But yeah, when the whole island doesn't change for the entire game.
I just make the tide go up every 20 minutes.
But think of how hard that would be. Like, you have to have tide going up. That's crazy.
Just in one section.
I can't even imagine that.
One area.
That doesn't make sense. It's called like sea level, right? You know, it's a definite point.
It's a special cove that has weird properties.
But what happens where the water meets the other water? What does that even mean? It doesn't make sense. You're just saying things.
Were you going to say something else about the island not changing?
No.
That's a good point, though.
It should change.
It would have been nice if there were some seasonal alterations, like in Harvest Moon.
You shouldn't be there long enough for a season to pass.
The lake cave opens up because it freezes. That kind of thing.
Games would, but I mean, it's nice. I think it's nice that it doesn't change sometimes.
I think it makes it a little bit more realistic. Like that island feels like a real place.
Yeah, I agree. Because a lot of times what happens in games is you go get something. It doesn't even have to be related. So like you go and you get the antidote, and then the causeway exists.
Yeah.
Right. Or like something on the island just changes because something else completely unrelated happens.
Yeah, for going from a game like Gone Home where there was this gating that was very obvious to a game like Miasmata where there's no gating whatsoever except for your own abilities, and your status. It's interesting.
Well, I felt like if you stick to points that you can see and you're trying to keep yourself mapped along the entire way, it felt like you were guided along a way because you can only see certain things. Now you can like, hit like, oh, I see a pixel of the statue over there, and then I can do the other one, and it felt kind of cheesy sometimes. But I felt like if we went logically, if we didn't try to do some of the weird things that we did sometimes, it would have felt pretty a soft gate, I guess. So it's not really changing the island, but it does guide you in a certain direction.
Yeah, in the beginning, like Natalie was saying, we didn't do any mapping at all. We just kind of, you just kind of kept going. And I was like, Natalie, do you want to map? And she was like, no. And she just kept going and just went north.
I ended up at the upper left-hand corner of the map.
And nothing was known. All the things were just question marks.
So much stuff.
And we were in the middle of the point.
It took us an eternity to figure out exactly how the mapping worked.
Whoa, that is not... It took you an eternity to figure out how...
You still couldn't get it to work half the time.
No, that's... The finding the position of a distant point versus finding where you are is a lot more complicated. Like, you have to find your position in two different positions and look at the thing.
Yeah,
that was kind of complicated, but...
I didn't make that connection until...
It wasn't very useful, anyway, so...
But I mean, there were the two parts of the mapping. There was one where you were finding out where you were, and there was another where you were adding a new waypoint to look at. I'm making them.
Going back on the pixel thing, It was like there were a lot of times where you would find a really, really high vantage point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was the best.
And it's like, sweet, I'm all really up here, and then you clicked on probably like 20 symbols, and it's mostly just pixels.
Yeah.
And you just map everything.
Yep.
Totally unrealistic. Completely impossible.
Unrealistic. Right? You get all these pixels.
Yeah.
And you draw perfect little symbols of like what you clicked on. Oh, yeah,
precisely
that's
where they are.
Stonehenge.
No, it's not very realistic, but I mean, it was fun.
I think it's about as close as you can get.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, the game's also set up places like there were those peninsulas that would go out into the water, and it's like this is where you stand to map these 2 points. Which was fine.
Trying to game it where like if I climb up on that boulder and I stand right here, I think I can see both of those things.
It is a constant search for higher ground.
Yeah.
And then once you get to higher ground, there's still a tree obscuring your way, and you're like, ah!
And there's probably no way down.
No way down.
So
you just jump.
Die on the way down.
It's fine.
Never been so scared to walk in a game.
Yeah.
Like
I thought the terrain was a lot scarier than the beast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The terrain was a constant terror.
Like it wasn't just you could accidentally fall down a slope. It's like you could be walking up a slope and slip and fall backwards. Which I guess would be realistic to mountain climbing.
You drop the precious flower that you climbed all this way.
Yeah.
Where is it? It's in the we like fell into tall grass after picking up something special. It was like this new thing, we fell into the tall grass and we just couldn't find it. It was gone.
Were we being chased at that point?
No.
There was one time when we fell and we were being chased. I don't think we lost the island.
I don't think we lost anything.
But I loved walking around the island and seeing things that I had dropped when I fell.
I didn't know they spawned. I assumed they despawned, but that's interesting.
Like, hey, mushroom, long time no see. We'll just pick you up right now.
Like, what's this knife doing here? Oh.
It's not a story.
That would have been nice if you could, like, not just map, but, like, maybe you could scratch into trees.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Make your own landmarks.
Yeah.
In a sense.
I like that.
Yeah. That could have been something.
I definitely should have been able to write on the chalkboard. I mean.
Did you guys have any thoughts or comments on the crafting, the medicine plant system?
I like the fact that we were looking for plants made you keep your eyes open. You were always looking for stuff.
Yeah.
That was
new stuff.
And you guys know I value that a lot in the game, where it's like you're looking at the graphics that they spent time on. It's not just there to look pretty. It serves a functional purpose, and so I'm like always looking at if there's like a spot of purple in the distance. It's like, what is that? You know, it's a special color that the color often denoted. Yeah.
Oh, those birds! Those yellow birds!
You kept looking at frogs.
Oh, what's this?
Frogs. Yeah, I mean the crafting was simple. You know, you put something in A and B, but it was enough. I didn't want it to be more complicated than that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too.
Too many things made basic medicine.
Yeah.
You'd find something entirely new, and you're like, "What is this?" You research it, and it's like basic medicine.
We never made an anti-hallucinogenic. I couldn't find the stuff for it. Yeah, they were like.
What does that do?
I assume if you're being chased by the monster, you take it, and then you don't get taken. You don't deal with it anymore.
Oh, the monster's just hallucination.
Well, it stops appearing when you cure yourself. So.
Yeah.
Or at least it didn't.
We saw that on that video we were watching. Oh, so a funny story. When we finally fixed my game and got the cure and went out to win the game.
Skipped the cutscene?
No, it was nighttime.
It was dusk. Boy. It was starting to get dusk.
Yeah.
There's the hammock, and it's starting to rain. I'm like, just go to sleep.
Raining.
You can't go to sleep in the hammock.
Can't go to sleep.
So you get in the boat.
We tried to do that too.
I'm making jokes the whole time, like, oh yeah, let's just. Cause nobody people were like on like Lost or something. It's like, oh, let's wait till morning. First thing in the morning, we'll go on this multi-day voyage. Yeah. No, let's go at dusk. First sign of the sun being gone and it's raining.
We have to do it now. It's a really time critical on this island.
I get in the boat and I do whatever you do with the thing, and then it's pitch black all around me, and I can see because I still see my hands. I see myself turn to the left. There's nothing. It's just darkness. I see myself turn to the right. Nothing. It's darkness. A few minutes later, I see my journal. I don't know, and then it's just darkness for like a minute and a half. Yeah. Wonder what that was all about. So then we.
Did you?
So I don't know what the journal was all about, but you get in the boat and it's like you've got a crate full of the antidote.
Yeah, the antidote.
And it just ends.
I don't know how you made a crate full of the antidote.
I was thinking it was that
it was already there.
Somebody came to the island with all the antidotes to save all the people there or something.
And
They weren't necessarily ones that were crafted on the island.
I thought it was like, there's this sickness over here. The cure happens to be on this island. And so, like, I'm going back to my country to drug everyone out. I don't know. It was the story was unclear, and they probably shouldn't have put it in.
Or, I don't know. It was left unresolved in a weird way. Just like, we had lost a lot of momentum at the end because, like, we got to the boat and couldn't figure out how to activate it.
Oh, God. We had to look up a video.
I don't understand that.
It was like, you had to click the center of the wheel.
Why did you click the center of the wheel? Sure, the game broke a lot. Did you get the situation where you couldn't look up and down because you closed your map too fast?
Yeah, I got that a lot.
Yeah.
We had to figure out how to fix that.
But then as soon as we figured it, like once we figured it out, it kept happening. But at least you know. But you feel stupid because it's like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have put the map away. Why didn't I wait for the little ring thing?
It only happened to you after that.
Really?
Yeah.
It did?
You're so impatient.
I think you just didn't use Clarity Tonic or whatever it was called. That just wasn't your
Could
thing.
be.
I didn't use any of the tonics or.
I don't think they should have been included.
No.
We used the one where it like tells you where you are on the map.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That one's too. It's too
I
good.
was there when you used it, but it was the very beginning when you weren't really aware what was happening, and we were in the jungle, and I think we were trying to get out. I don't remember how dark it was.
I know that once I started running faster, once I got that running buff, I was tripping constantly. You can trip and fall if you like run too fast off of a step or something. Man,
and you can jump in the game. Why can you jump in the game? You're never going to be able to.
Well, it's to get to the thing on the island with the 3 blocks. That's it. That's the only reason.
That's right. That's right. Well, I sort of wondered if it was like just a bug fix. It's like, well, if you trip on something, jump over it.
If you get stuck in a thing, if you can't walk over a
steps
tiny
that were too steep, and you can like go around them, but you may still jump.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was killing myself every time I jumped.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm too weak. I can't jump.
No, don't stress your body. Just wait for the cure. Wait for the cure.
I'm curious about the logic of the creature. I was reading on like the promo materials for the game that it's based on sight, hearing, and smell, and maybe.
Did you guys get the buff where you could like see where the monster was if you crouched?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of
that's the permanent one, right?
Yeah, the permanent ones does that. That was so helpful, especially when it turns your head to look at it.
Yeah. That was certainly a less realistic thing, but it made the game
a lot easier.
Yeah.
The name of that buff is like mental clarity or something.
Yeah.
Mental something. That makes more sense with the hallucination.
I think if you wanted to avoid doing that, you'd have to make it much more obvious when the monster was there and where.
Well,
because the heartbeat would go up.
But we'd hear the heartbeat, or we'd hear something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Is that a heartbeat? We'd stop moving.
I hear it all the time, man.
Yeah.
Talk about like if it is supposed to be a hallucination, then they're really getting in your head there. Like
I swear it showed up more often after we got the.
I think so too.
After
I started seeing it all the time, and I'd be crouching, and it would come looking for me and run into me and push me back over a cliff.
I got tired of dealing with it, so I would just keep going. I'd just keep going. Where I was headed, I'd just keep headed.
I think like all those twigs and stuff on the ground, I think the more you ran over those and made them snap, then the more likely it was to hear you and come back.
That's probably superstition.
No, those twigs did make that snap.
Sure, but
the ones that you could light on fire.
That doesn't mean that it makes the monster come.
How could it not?
I don't know.
If you're running from the monster already.
Maybe. Maybe if you're running, it can detect you. I don't know. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, that would actually be nice to know. And they might want to video gamify that a little bit. Have a circle of noise or something.
I don't know. I don't
know how you would do it, but I want to know how far realism extends for the monster's ability. Can it hear me, 100 yards away?
There should have been a document about, like, you got to stay quiet. You got to stay out of sight.
Because I like the idea of accidentally finding yourself in a clearing and the monster's there. It's like, there's nowhere to hide. Maybe the flower that you need is in a meadow or something. Yeah. That would be cool.
There should have been more scripted things. Like when I go into that pond to pick up the thing in the water,
At the top of the mountain.
There should have been something. When I go to this place, there should have been something. I think scripted events really.
Well, I think the thing that happened when you went to that pond was beauty. It's just a beautiful.
Okay,
area.
So we totally accidentally found that thing.
Yeah.
Like we stumbled on it, and then later we found the instructions of like, here's where you find it.
For us, that was when we had run up in the upper left-hand corner of the map at the beginning, and I found like that note. I'm like, yeah, we're going, and it's the middle of the night, and we go all the way out, and we found it, but it was in the middle of the night, so I have no idea any of this beauty you're talking about.
Well, I think.
Like, can I get across that swamp without drowning? I'm going for it.
Wait, could you? Could you get across without?
I think so. Or I found a way. Yeah.
I think
maybe that's fine.
I think we tried to do the same thing that you did, which is go to the top left-hand corner of the map, but we just kept getting distracted by things, either trying to survive or finding new
stuff. I'm not
stuff.
sure that I went there on purpose. That's the place I ended.
But no, there was an outpost in the northwest.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep track of any of those outpost names. It
wasn't Rigel, because Rigel's earlier. That's the only one I remember. Towel.
That was the first place we went to, and we got the instructions. We had instructions to go to that swamp.
Yeah.
We were looking for it.
Yeah. No, we went there on purpose, but we didn't end up at Tao on purpose. I was just running, and that was the first place we saw.
The game didn't have any caves. I thought that was.
I thought I saw a cave. I was like, oh my god, is that a cave? And it wasn't.
Yeah, you never went in anything except the cabin.
I suspect that's a limitation of the terrain engine.
I think so too. Yeah. That's fine.
Because I would have made a cave. Like, I think that's just.
Couldn't you just put like a loading door and it goes into a new area?
No, there was no loading doors in the game. Why would you? You're adding a thing to the game.
You just
think of all the things that you have to add when you put a loading door in.
So you just put a long tunnel, but it's not a tunnel. It's just thick trees.
Okay, yeah.
And when you get to the end, it loads a new area.
That could have. Okay, well, I don't know about the loading. Could have just been an area surrounded by thick trees that you wouldn't normally go in.
I like the idea of having to go in somewhere pitch black and not knowing what's going to be.
Well, Dear Esther had a lot of caves, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I like this game a lot. I thought it was pretty good. Aside from the bugs, of which there were several.
There were some. Yeah.
But
I think it's hard to criticize a bug in a game made by two people. So.
Sure, bugs are tough to fix and find.
So this isn't a criticism, but it's just I don't know. Like right now, we've played 2 games where it's us alone in the world, and that's fine. Like I thought Miasmata was fine in the way that it was.
Are you criticizing our game choice?
No. I'm just talking about like. What if there were people on this island who are alive? Maybe it wouldn't work with this story, okay? But exploring an island where there's people would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's so much easier to suspend your disbelief when
it's true.
Things like
I mean, NPCs are hard to program, but
the girl's still standing there waiting for me to come talk to her.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you give them a life.
You give them a schedule.
You give them,
and that's what
they go to the fruit. They go to the water, they go to bed. Like that they just do that every day. Right?
They plow the fields for 8 hours a day, whatever.
I don't know what people do.
But I think the point of this game was the isolation and the feeling of complete hopelessness.
Sure, and that's why it's not a criticism. I'm just saying, I've been playing a lot of games lately where they're dead worlds, you know? Literally in this one, everyone was dead. So, I don't know.
It's about the beauty of nature, though.
It's fun.
It's about going for a walk in the woods.
But let's imagine a game with this type of gameplay, this type of game with people in it. What would that be like?
Right. So there'd be like a town area which is already mapped, but there'd be the wilderness, which no one goes into because it's too dangerous. But you need something.
You're the guy.
You're the guy, yeah.
You're the one person with a knife.
I don't know. I mean, you can...
Oh, no. You're the one person with a compass.
Nice.
That's
so
a lot. That's much stronger.
So you want to map the island, compass. You know. I don't know. You could come up with any premise for it. You know, maybe something's been coming into the town at night and wrecking things or hurting people or something. And you just got to uncover the mystery.
Yeah. Instead of flowers, you're looking for clues.
Right. And then it's like it's a world you're trying to save, sort of, because you like your town.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
There's sure. There's things you could do, and I'd be interested in seeing more things along that line, the line of this game.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of games that could be made out of this, just like the island concept and the engine that they built.
Yeah, I feel like it was also a game that really benefited from being 3D, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think you don't get that confusion of where you are without it being in 3D.
Because the camera's always up.
Right. Like, because the camera will not rotate, or if it does, you hate it because it looks terrible. Yeah. But because it's 3D, it really let you get lost.
Well, that is actually the thing. Like, Minecraft is 3D, but in Minecraft, you can always find your way because
if you cheat.
No, not even that. You just, because it's blocks, there's only left, right, up, and down, and you look at the sun, and you can go north. Yeah. Like, it's that easy. You can kind of go north in this game by the sun, but
you can also always like dig through anything if you really need to. Yeah.
Well, technically, you can always go north in Miasmata too, but you're gonna hit a mountain you can't.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what disorients you, because you're like, oh, I'll just slight left.
Yeah.
But then you slight left more than you thought, and you're lost.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of games don't. I felt like this game, you were really limited to your paths, but you weren't programmatically limited to your paths. There wasn't like a hard wall in between you and the outside. It was just, it's either because it's dangerous or because it's too steep. And a lot of games don't have that feeling, but life kind of has that feeling where I can't just walk straight to my destination ever, no matter where I am. Even if I'm in the middle of the woods, it's like there might just be like a thick wall of vines in the way, but.
And we tried to game it. Like, we would try and walk up the steepest thing, and it took forever.
Yeah.
And sometimes you would make it, sometimes
you
wouldn't.
slipped, you're dead. But I thought that was interesting, that they were able to do somewhat natural-looking terrain that you couldn't just walk all over, which a lot of games end up doing. Like, I think you can walk everywhere in Skyrim or something. It's just, you can climb mountains wherever you want. That kind of thing. Just an open world. GTA suffers from the same thing. You can mostly just drive wherever you want. Well, helicopter, because that's all I give you.
Yeah, I think the struggling to walk up hills concept was really unexpected, and I like that.
I think that is good. Like, that's a nice natural limitation, and also swimming, because you know what? If I can't swim forever, that makes sense, because I actually, in real life, can't swim that long.
Swimming in open water is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Like, non-pool water is really difficult.
So it makes sense. So in GTA 4, when they wanted to close off the other island, and you couldn't go over the bridge because the cops were there, but you could swim, why'd they let you swim? Just make you get tired.
Just imagine, like, what this game would have been like if you could have walked anywhere you wanted, really.
Yeah.
It would have been a completely different game.
Yeah. Not a good game.
I think.
Yeah, it would have been very uninteresting that way.
That seems like a sign of a good mechanic if you take it out and it pretty much wrecks the whole game.
Yeah.
It's a critical component.
And I would never have guessed that that's like, I'm going to make it hard to walk up hills, and I'm going to make it dangerous to fall down hills. Like,
yeah, personally, I never would have designed that, because I think fun movement is important, but in this game, it really worked.
I feel like it was made by someone who's gone for a walk or two.
Yeah.
Gone hiking before.
I feel like I've learned some survival skills from this game.
Yeah, stay on the path.
Don't trust yourself.
Eat red cap mushroom.
Well, not before you prepare them.
Well, yeah.
In your lab.
Well, that was a thing. All of the weird things, like the anti-hallucinogen or whatever, they were kind of. I don't understand why they were there, because. It should
have just been medicine.
No, because you had to prepare them. So it's not like you encountered the beast and you're like, I need to get rid of this hallucination, and you do it in the wild, because you had to already have it on.
That's true. It was about preparation, not improvisation.
If it was
like knowing, like, oh, there's a stash of good flowers over here, so I'll head over there.
Yeah, if you had taken those flowers in the wild and done something with it, and it was like,
that would have been some interesting.
Interesting. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. The lab was a little limited, I suppose.
I mean, it was fine. It just made those things kind of weird.
Yeah, I think they could have gotten away with just basic medicine, having the. I don't even know what else there was. Advanced medicine? I don't know what the stronger medicine did. Extra strength medicine. I guess it was extra strength, but...
Adult medicine.
You could just sleep it off anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you could sleep it off.
Oh, speaking of sleeping it off, I was under the impression for some reason that you had a limited amount of time to live.
Oh, I was too. I thought I was going to die in a week.
So I just kept telling Natalie, like, every time you go to sleep, you have to go out in the middle of the night if you wanted to be able to.
I think a time pressure. We were actually just talking about this because we were watching some people compete in an FPS where it was just whoever survived longer. Like you had 7 lives, and whoever died last, and the person who camped, who just hid in a corner, survived.
And that's the person who won. Everyone else who was playing the game
just put a time pressure on everything. Don't let anyone sit there. Just always put a time pressure. I think that might be.
Maybe you die if you don't get a kill every 2
minutes. Sure. You need a kill every 2 minutes.
Yeah. But for this game, I think, I don't know, because it gets into that dangerous territory of I don't like Pikmin because I feel so much stress about coming to the end of the game.
You have a full day to get every single part.
Yeah.
For each part,
it's too stressful.
You can spend 1 day, and you can get multiple parts in a single day if you have any idea what you're doing.
It's too stressful.
Pathetic.
So I don't like that, but I think in this game it might have been a good idea.
Maybe the fake time pressure of having the days count is sufficient. Was sufficient.
What do you mean?
Like, having the days count up makes you think, maybe I will die in 7 days. I don't know.
What if the days counted down?
Oh, but they just.
I mean, I guess you could just slow your progress by having monster encounters. The sicker you get, more of them. But that, I don't know. Maybe that would have made the game. Yeah, that would have made the game slower and harder.
Yeah, I just don't. I think it would have been neat to have more reasons to venture out into the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got smart.
Maybe they're trying to teach you something about hiking. And
don't go out at night.
Don't go out at night. Are you insane? Why are you going out at night?
But that's like realistic. But that's not movie fun. Movie fun means you have to go out at night. Exactly.
You have to go out at night. That's when you have to split up and you have to go out at night.
And part of games and movies is making you do the cool thing and not the sensible thing. It's fine when a game lets you live by doing the sensible thing, but
I'm a sensible person, right?
Yeah.
I stay indoors and play video games instead of going to islands and walking around. I'm already doing the sensible thing by doing that. I should be faking the exciting, dramatic thing.
Yeah.
Right? It should be showing me these things that I'm missing by staying inside and playing video games instead. So that's what I think about Miasmata.
I agree.
We think about Miasmata.
All those other people should have played it.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong.
Are you trying to end something here, Nick?
No, I'm just saying. I thought the game was pretty tough. Oh man.
You kept saying that, and then I was like,
I felt like I was dying all the time.
It only took us 11 hours.
Did you die a lot?
No, we didn't die a lot, but I felt like it was on the edge.
Yeah.
I felt
we were always like, where you would choke every couple minutes and you're.
Oh yeah, really?
Kind of dark. Yeah, all the time.
I don't know. I felt like the game was actually difficult to complete, but I know it wasn't. It was a good illusion, though.
I got really
felt
nervous
oppressed
when I thought I didn't know where any of the Agent Z stuff was. I was like, how in the hell am I gonna find? Like, I've been everywhere, but
we absolutely got to that point too, where we were like, haven't we been everywhere? Did we miss it? Where is it?
Once we realized the notes held all the answers, it got a little easier.
We looked very closely at the notes after that, and that wasn't. Like, I'm okay with consulting notes, but I don't know. Something about the way that thing was organized made it really hard to find.
I think a lot of it was because there was a vast majority of them. Not a vast majority. A lot of the notes were flavor notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If every single thing was important, like in the notes, and then you had a flavor notes section, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
Because I like reading. That sounds weird. I like reading clues in a video game.
Yeah.
I like having to look over a text and find the important information.
Yeah.
Because I did that in school, so I feel that it should be a valuable skill in a video game. No, but seriously, really, I like reading a note and digesting what it's trying to tell me, and then doing it.
Yeah, and if that's well written enough, you don't need to have words highlighted or anything. You can just pick it out by reading it.
Yeah,
I was skimming. I wasn't reading them.
Deduction in this game.
Yeah.
But I did appreciate just the simple fact that it's a game where it makes you make a plan. In a way, you can't just run wherever you want.
You don't just go to the waypoint, unlike a lot of open world games.
Yeah.
So instead of some of those flavor notes, I think it would have been a cool idea because sometimes you come to a cabin and there's a murder splayed out in front of you. If you had to. I don't want to say solve the murder. No, not literally solve it, but figure out what happened and why.
You reposition the bodies.
No.
You do blood splatter, not they had to be here to get killed.
No, you just figure out who argued and why they were arguing, and maybe that points you in the direction of your next plan.
I suppose so. he stormed off into the woods,
Because it definitely seems like when you play the game,
leaving an owl pointed in the direction that he was headed.
It definitely seems like you came upon a place that was in the process of figuring out what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like they were trying to figure out the anti-drug, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't
anti-drug.
know. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to cobble together the intelligence, the knowledge that has been assembled already, or that has been.
Well, that's sort of what you are doing by gathering
Yeah.
notes. You just aren't actually doing it.
Right. And that was a fine way to do it. I just think you could have experimented with a few different ways of doing it, and that might have been fun.
Yeah, these guys found all the plants. Why didn't they just put them together?
Yeah.
I think.
I'm sure we would know that if we bothered to figure out the lore.
Yeah.
Well, the madness took them.
The madness, sure. They just weren't in time.
Right.
So they found it. They didn't pick it up because their hands were full. Then they went back.
And I guess that's why you can't do that, because
they
if it's
picked up
just
too much orange prairie flower.
if it's just the madness got them, then you would just find all the ingredients there and put them together and win.
Yeah.
You need like a story of rival factions.
Yeah, there's got to be something. I mean,
where they each had part of it.
Stabbed to death. It's not like the monster got them. They were all stabbed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there is no monster.
Yeah, it's a hallucination.
The
monster is the madness.
If you got killed by the monster, you'd have been stabbed.
So.
By yourself.
Who is that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Who's the real monster?
I was going to say, how many people are on that island, and you thought they were the monster the whole time?
What?
There's people alive on that island, and you just saw them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that could be. That would be interesting.
If you had figured out how to stab them, then maybe you would have found their body later.
That actually would have been interesting if they had let me stab him, and maybe the monster was killed, and
then if you come back to that area,
it's a body, and you're like, what happened here?
Oh.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Did I kill them? Look at my hand.
Yeah. And that would make it incredibly scary because you would have killed the monster, and the monster would still be there.
Yeah.
You'd still, later come back alive.
Yeah.
And they're trying to kill you because they think you're the monster.
Yeah.
And that's why they're always around your flowers, because they're going for the flowers too.
We cracked the case.
But then it would have gone into the problem where, you know how video games they give you a goal, and sometimes they add another goal after you complete that goal. It would have been that, and you would have had to find all the monsters and inject them with this.
Oh, that would have been awful.
That would have been terrible.
They could have cutscened that away.
Maybe you get some food and you bait them in, and that's it.
Then it becomes a game about traps.
Yeah.
Trapped.
I like the long swim to the island at the end.
Ours was extra long because we just found out where we were and where the destination was, and we were like, well, we can swim now, and we just swam the whole way.
Oh my god.
It was kind of awful.
It was the wrong choice.
It was bad.
About halfway through, we were like, okay, we're getting on land.
But it was like, we knew we couldn't get lost if we swam.
You thought, like, are we even moving? Because
absolutely.
It's just not.
Nothing was happening.
The first time I did it, it was when I was still pretty weak. I don't even think I took the tonic then. I don't remember. But I was just like, I'm going, and you can see it there.
Go for the boat.
Closer. And I was like, am I going to make it? And then I did not make it.
I actually saw the strand out from where you stand. And it has like tracks.
You saw
I was like, I wonder what that is, and then I just kept moving.
You saw it on the map or saw it?
No, before.
Oh, because I had never seen that island before when it showed us where it was. I was like, they did a good job of hiding it.
The island is way out there, but there's like some tracks or something.
There's like a strait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a clue that there's something out there, and I was like, huh.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of just letting it go at that point. Like, they'll tell us when we need to go down that strait.
And they did.
And they did, yeah.
Sort of. I don't know. We did things out of order. We should have done them X, Y, Z.
We didn't know. We got lost.
X, Y, and Z.
We got lost so much.
We should have gone for the red fern.
But X is like up in the upper left, and then Y is in the bottom left, which is closer to where you start.
Right.
Z is on the other side.
See, that's what I think. I think you're supposed to assemble them out of order.
Amen.
Nick thinks you should do them X, Y, Z, but I think you the natural.
Like 3 peninsulas on the island. There are 3 like things sticking out of each of the island. There's like a river in between each of them, and there's a critical ingredient on the far east side of each of these. I think I could be misremembering.
I just remembered one instance of gating at the very beginning of the game you have your boat crash, and there's like a wall.
Oh yeah, that
to
is
go to
the
east.
one gate.
But you can climb over it because I did it. Not at the beginning of the game.
You didn't have
Later.
to look at the dead body. Oh man, the number of times where we'd just be like, we'd be walking around, and it's like, I don't really know where we are, and then you find like a place that you've been, or you're like, is that a new kind of?
Yeah.
No, that's just the start. We're at the start again. God.
Yeah, though.
We circled the entire island.
The first time we played, our first foray, we circled the entire island.
No, the entire like lower part of it.
Oh yeah, well there's the 3 islands.
Yeah.
You know, the lower island. What?
And because we just couldn't find anything to map, and then we got to the.
Well, we were trying to stay close to the coast because we were afraid.
Well, the coast is. You always know where you are. You're at the coast.
but to find the plants, you need to go into the heart of the island.
The coast is always.
I didn't hear you.
I feel like there was one coastal area that the creature liked to hang around. I ran into the creature like 5 times.
Was it the one with the stairs?
Were there some stairs there?
One with the stairs.
There were some stone steps that like went down. And,
like temple steps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was more like in the middle of all.
Okay. Superstition then, probably.
Probably.
Was it the place near the purple fruit on the ground?
The eggplant?
And the.
I think it might have been.
And the palm trees.
Yeah, I think that was where it was.
And the monkey noises. I think there were some monkey noises.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe there were no monkeys on this island.
Yeah, there are definitely times when I was hearing things, and like you would be talking or something, and I'm like, I wish you would shut up. I can't tell if these are heartbeats or not.
Yeah, those heartbeats, they were
hard to tell. God.
The footsteps would continue as well if you opened the.
Yeah, if you open the map, you would just walk, and you're like, I gotta get out of the map. It might be the monster.
I hear
it
footsteps.
It never was.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, but that's a bug again.
Yeah. That was a flavorful bug.
All the important plants looked different, and that was good.
I like this.
Some of the basic medicine plants look the same, but maybe that's because they all make basic
I think we
medicine.
just repeatedly picked up the same plant.
No, there was a purple one.
Yeah.
There was a white one, and then there was like a purple and white one?
No, it was just the purple one and the white one.
What?
Well, no, it was white and then white purple.
Okay. But they were both like the same shape.
I think they did the same thing though, so it doesn't matter.
But the important ones was like there was the corn.
I kept
the eggplant,
picking up the orange prairie flower though.
Yeah.
That thing's useless.
Every time I wanted.
Yeah, it was useless.
No,
I kept telling Nick, I'm like, that doesn't do anything.
There was something orange that did something, and we never found it.
We never found it.
Or maybe we did. I think it was the other thing on top of the mountain.
I like that I found a new plant pretty much really late in the game. And it's like, oh wow, how did I go this long and not find every single plant? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that was cool. It was a little disappointing when you're like, there was a point where we were just like, let's just get through the game, you know, get X, Y, and Z. And then you'd find a plant, and it was like Hercules tonic or something. And you're like, oh.
But at least you found it.
Yeah. It's like your excitement dwindles very quickly.
It's not getting you closer to the end of the game, so.
I definitely felt a huge relief once I did like find the last place where all the last agent stuff was, because at some point I was just like, I've only got like one piece of each of the things, and
you can't actually make anything.
I was just like, this.
Your tray is all full.
Yeah.
Did you guys do all the other upgrades?
We did the 3 at the bottom,
Yeah, we did that too. I think at one point we started focusing on that, like on purpose.
Really?
Just so that we could get around easier.
The owls had all the information.
Yeah, the owls pointed right to it too.
I didn't learn about the owl thing until really late.
Yeah, same.
It was.
I noticed.
I think it was early half.
No, mine was late in the what's this? Owls? Basic medicine? Okay.
I felt so stupid too. It's like, of course you go where the owl is looking. Why didn't we? I
didn't even notice that there were owls on the top.
Yeah, might as well be an arrow.
I was just like, why can't I map to this? It's clearly man-made.
I literally didn't see owls until we got the note that said, "Hey, chase that. Go towards the go where the owl's facing." Oh, okay.
That might be true.
It's a weird place to put it, but.
Well, sometimes you would get information and I wouldn't.
Right.
Depends on who's playing, who's reading.
And
You could make a really nice puzzle mystery style game out of the concept of this game.
I think so.
I would like to play that game. Good game.
Good game.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Different.
Something I haven't seen before. Complete accident that we did it. Why was I like, hey, that's a good, we should play that.
I bought it.
Yeah, you bought it, but I was like, hey, that's a cool trailer.
Yeah.
Check it out. Let's check that out. But why?
You really like the mapping? That's what you told Nick about.
No, but that wasn't in the trailer at all. You can't put that in a trailer. That's such a weird thing to put in a trailer. No one would be interested in that. But I think that was really cool. That's mapping I haven't done before.
I can explain everything.
What?
John Blow's Twitter.
Okay.
I sent it to you, or you sent it to me, because John Blow mentioned it.
Yeah. I guess that's how that happened.
So I don't have anything else to say about the game, I guess.
I don't either.
I feel like we pretty much covered all the aspects.
Every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Graphics, nope. Well, yeah, a little bit. Sound, yeah.
Man, they must have spent a lot of time on that world. Because it looked pretty good. I mean, they weren't like cutting edge graphics, but it
did the job.
Yeah.
It all went well together, and like you could have some really beautiful scenes with sunsets.
Oh yeah, we'd be on the top of the mountain, like, oh my god, it's actually really gorgeous.
Oh, that is one thing, and it's a small thing.
If you look up at the sky when it's bright, you can't see the ground. The ground becomes completely dark, like in the early morning or like as the sun's setting.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting like dynamic lighting thing because it kind of feels like, well, now I can't see because it was too bright. Like you go into a dark place and it's like I can't see. I gotta wait to adjust, and it would.
It's totally how life works.
Yeah. If you looked at the ground, you could see always.
It's so realistic.
Yeah.
Except when you have a big branch on fire and you can't see your journal.
That was bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah,
we ran into that problem too. You're holding a branch on fire, can't see what's on this journal.
Well, you put your hand behind the journal.
You
don't want to catch your journal on fire.
That was peculiar for sure.
Explanation for everything.
Okay.
Just hold it really far away.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
That's it.
Alright, I'm gonna make us not live anymore.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks to all 0 viewers. Little counter in there.
It's not for them.
Zero, it actually says zero.
Nick didn't let me tweet it. I would have tweeted it.
It's not for them. We're just having a conversation.
Alright, goodbye, people who watch this video in the future.
Bye.
Future us, pretty much. At best.
Just turn it over.